It's winter and it is really cold out. It's cold, everything's covered in snow, and it's dark. I mean, the sun comes up really late in the morning, it goes down really early in the evening, and it just stays cold all the time, and we're covered in snow. And sometimes it seems like spring and summer's never gonna get here. And we think about and we dream about those days when the snow's going to be gone, it's going to be green and sunny and warm, and we can get out and do so many things. But in the dead of winter, it can seem so dark and dreary and kind of depressing. And we have to remind ourselves of the good that's coming. You know, that's kind of where we find ourselves in the study of Habakkuk. Habakkuk chapter 2, verses 2 through 20 is what we're going to be looking at this week. And Habakkuk finds himself in a place very similar to what we face in the dead of winter. He cried out to God about the sin within Judah. And God answered his prayer to do something about Judah's sin. But the answer made things almost seem worse and darker for Habakkuk in his mind and for his people, because God said the Chaldeans are going to come in and basically lay waste to the Judean people because of their sin. And Habakkuk, that darkness and that weight of that, it caused him to question God's goodness, caused him to question God's promise, and he really challenged God. And then at the end of, in chapter 2, verse 1, at the end of his reply to God, he says, I'm going to stand and wait. And I'm going to wait for how God's going to respond to me. And here for the rest of chapter 2, we get God's response. And the response is this. It's an assurance by God that even though it may seem like darkness just surrounds them and is going to surround them for a significant amount of time, to the point of maybe even not ending, God assures them that the promise of hope is there, even if it tarries, even if it seems to wait so long, like the promise of summer in the middle of winter. He says, he reminds Habakkuk that he is on his throne, and what he promises, it will come to pass. It can seem like life can be so dark sometimes, and we need to be reminded of the hope that God has given to us. Join us this Sunday to be reminded about the sureness of the promise of God for us. You can join us online at 11 o'clock, or you can join us in person here at Lighthouse Community Church on 11 a.m. on Sundays. And if you want to know what's going on, just scan the QR code that's going to come up here in just a second. And if you can't scan that code, click the link at in the description on the YouTube page. We hope that we can see you soon, and you can join us and participate with us in what God is doing with us here at Lighthouse Community Church.